Do you want to add amazing VFX to your MMD videos like this? Or like this? In this tutorial, I'll teach you not just 1 or 2, but 50 VFX that you can use in your MMD videos. Stick around because not only will I teach you how to use each effect, but also how to combine them to produce even better effects.
Requirements.
First, make sure you have Miku Miku Effects or MME installed in your MMD. If you don't have it, don't worry. We've provided a download link and installation instructions in the description below. Next, I've provided the link to Beamman, Harigane, and other MMD effects, which we'll be using throughout this tutorial. You don't need to download all of them at once. Simply download the specific effect that we'll be using as we go. Additionally, feel free to use any model and stage you prefer for this tutorial. However, if you'd like to use the same scene as mine, I'll be using the scene created in the Ray MMD Toon Shader tutorial. The link is in the description below. Finally, download the camera and model motion I created for the tutorial's final part, where we'll combine the MMD effects we're learning. Download link is also in the description. Now let's get started.
2 effect categories.
The MMD effects that we will use in this tutorial can be split into 5 categories. These are effects that use 1. Accessory manipulation only, 2. Accessory manipulation and frame manipulation, 3. Accessory manipulation and MME, 4. Accessory manipulation and model manipulation, and 5. Model manipulation only. To keep things moving quickly in this tutorial, let's use abbreviations for the words we'll be using often. We'll use AM for accessory manipulation, FM for frame manipulation, MME for Miku Miku effect, and MM for model manipulation. Now, let's add an effects counter at the upper left corner to track our progress, and let's begin using the effects, starting with the easiest one that uses AM only.
3. Accessory manipulation.
Before we start using the effects, let's discuss the important parts of AM. The display checkbox determines whether the effect will be shown on the screen or not. This section is used to attach an effect to a model, and the other part specifies which bone of that model the effect will be attached to. You can change the position of the effect by modifying the X, Y, and Z values. You can alter the rotation of the effect by adjusting the RX, RI, and RZ values. SI and TR are used to adjust the size and transparency of an effect, but they are also used to adjust the strength of an effect. Now, enough with the boring part. Let's put our knowledge into practical use. The first category we'll discuss are effects that use AM only. We can further divide this category into 2 subcategories: auto and bone-attached effects. Auto effects are automatically activated upon loading. Let's load an effect in this category. Go to AM, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to the Aura Particle folder, and select auraparticle.x. As you can see, the effect is already activated. You can increase the size of the aura by changing the value of SI. Let's change it to 4. Click Register to save the changes. Other effects in this category include Earthquake, Rain Light, Cave Cannon, Burner, Billboard, Graze, Line Billboard, Line Particle, Particle X Charge, Real Fire Particle, and Specium Beam. In addition to using AM, you can also adjust the position and rotation of an effect using the XYZ rollers. Click the word Local until it displays Accessory. And now you can use the rollers to change the position of your effect. Now let's learn how to use bone-attached effects. These effects become visible only when there's movement in the model's bone to which the effect is attached. These effects are usually attached to the model's hands, but no one is stopping you from using them on the model's. Go to AM, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to Active Particle Light V006. Double-click on the MME folder and select Active Particle Light.x. Choose the model you want to apply the effect to, and select the model's bone where you want the effect to be attached. For this example, let's attach active particle light to the model's left-hand dummy bone. Click Register to save the changes. Now, you'll see the effect every time there's movement in the model's left arm. Other effects in this category include active PV circle, active PV heart, active PV hexagon, active PV square, active PV star, active PV triangle, active particle smoke, and line V4. Similar to bone-attached effects, you can also attach other effects. For example, you can attach aura particle to the model, so it follows the model as it moves.
4. Accessory and frame manipulation.
Now, let's talk about effects that depend on using accessory and frame manipulation panel. To use these effects, you need to set a starting frame and an ending frame. Remember, MMD works at 30 frames per second, meaning for every 1 second of animation, you need to use 30 frames. So if you want your effect to last for 3 seconds, you'll need to use 90 frames. Now, let's try using an effect from this category. Go to AM, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to the PE Bomb folder and select PEBomb.x. You'll see that TR is set to 1. Move to frame 30 and click Register. This will be our starting frame. Next, go to frame 60. Set the value of TR to 0 and click Register again. This will be our end frame. Although the effect might not be visible yet, if you move from frame 30 to 60, you'll notice the effect changing with the TR value going from 1 to 0. Click Play to view the full animation cycle of the effect. To slow down the effect animation, just increase the distance between the end frame and the starting frame. Other effects in this category include hit effect, fireworks, muzzle flash, PA, and effects from Simple Magic Volume 1 to 4, which includes fire, slash, thunder, wind, water, ice, and impact.
5. Accessory manipulation and memory.
Now let's learn how to use effects that uses accessory manipulation and MME. Whenever you load these effects in AM, a new tab will appear in MME, which is where you will configure the effect. Now, let's load an effect in this category. Go to AM, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to the Self Thunder V03 folder, and select selfthunder.x. In order to activate the effect, we need to assign it to a model. Go to MME and click Effect Mapping. You'll see 2 tabs in the end named Vertex Pos RT and Vertex Pos Mask RT. First, let's assign the effect to the model that we are using the effect. Go to the Vertex Pose RT tab, double-click the model, then in your Self Thunder V03 folder and select SavePose.fx. Next, go to your Vertex Pose Mask RT tab, double-click the model, then in your Self Thunder V03 folder and select Mask.fx. You can now see the effect applied to your model. If you want some parts of the model to not be affected by the effect, simply uncheck those parts in the Vertex Pose Mask RT tab. Click Apply, then OK to save the changes. You can increase or decrease the size of the effect by adjusting the value of SI in AM. Let's change the value of SI to 1.5 and click on Register. Other effects that uses the same method include self-darkness, self-burning, and self-freeze.
6. Model manipulation.
Now let's discuss effects loaded using model manipulation. Once you load these effects, their behavior can be controlled in facial manipulation. Unlike effects loaded in AM, where you only change 2 values, which are SI and TR, to control the behavior of an effect, the number of attributes for effects loaded in MM varies per effect. You just have to play around with the values in facial manipulation until you get the desired result. Let's load an effect in this category. Go to MM, click Load, and navigate to your effects folder, then to your Aura PMD V1 folder and select Aura PMD.pmd. Set outsize plus to 0.6, insize plus to 0.4, and height plus to 0.8. Click Register for each change. Change the color of the aura by changing the value of H to 0.4 and B to 0.3. Click Register. Change the value of text plus to 0.2 and click on Register. Other effects include Auto Smoke, G-Beam SP, New Bomb, and Glass Bomb.
7. Accessory and model manipulation.
The last category of effects that we'll discuss are effects that use accessory and model manipulation. To use these effects, you need to first load the effect in AM, then load its controller in MM. Similar to effects that use AM only, you just have to play around with the values until you get the desired result. But some of these effects have presets that you can simply load. You'll know if there's one if you find a VMD file inside the effects folder. Now let's see how to do it in actual. Go to AM, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to your MasterSpark V1 folder and select MasterSpark.x. To control how powerful the effects is, let's load its controller. Go to MM, click Load, go to your MasterSpark V1 folder again, and select MasterSparkController.pmd. We need to control the effects behavior by changing the values in facial manipulation, but as you can see in this one, the sliders have no label. If you encountered something like this, simply move all the sliders until you see changes in the effects. As you can see, if I move the value of this one slider, the effect's size decreases. Now let's start the effect at frame 0. Set the slider value to 1 and click Register. Then go to frame 30, set the slider value to 0 and click Register. When you hit play, you can see that the effect's size gradually increases. Next, let's use an effect that already has a preset that you just need to load. Go to AM, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to your beam charge folder and select beamchargetarget.x. You can see a red object displayed on the screen. This serves as the target to where you want to focus your effect. Let's attach the effect to the model's left dummy bone and click Register. Now that you've put the target to your desired position, go to your MME, click Effect Mapping and uncheck it in your main tab to hide it from the scene. Now let's load its controller. Go to MM, click Load, go to your Beam Charge folder again, and select beamcharge.pmd. You can play around with the values in facial manipulation, but this effect has a preset motion that you can just load, so let's do that. Select a starting frame, then click on File, then Load Motion Data. Navigate to your Beam Charge folder and select the VMD file. When you hit play, you can see the beam charge in action. Other effects in this category includes Soft Smoke, Ball Glass, Oscaroa Beam, Reflect Beam, and Big Explosion effects, which includes Fire Pillar, Flare, and Cross Explosion.
8. Effect color customization.
There are 3 ways to change the color of the effects. The first one is by editing the FX file. Let's use Aura Particle as an example. Go to the Aura Particle folder and double-click the FX file. You can see that there is a variable called Particle Color. These 3 numbers represent the primary colors red, green, and blue. These primary colors are combined in various proportions to create a wide spectrum of colors. Right now, the Aura Particle's color looks reddish-orange, since the value is a combination of red and green, where red's value is higher than green and no shade of blue, since the blue is 0. When we change the value of red to 0 and blue to 2 and hit Save, the Aura Particle's color turns bluish. The second way of changing the effect's color is by using the effect's color controller inside MMD. Let's use Fire Pillar from Big Explosions effect as an example. When you load its controller, you can change its color and how bright you want it to be. The third way of changing the effect's color is by changing the image use for its particle texture. Simply go to the effects folder and replace the image with the one you edited using an image editor. The good news is I already made some of it and included it in the VFX tutorial downloadables. Now on to the fun stuff. Let's learn how to combine the effects that we've learned in this tutorial.
9. Combining effects.
First, let's load the model motion from our VFX tutorial downloadables folder. Go to Model Manipulation and select the model. Now go to File, click Load Motion Data, navigate to the Motion folder and select VFX Tutorial Motion.vmd. Next, let's load the camera motion. Click to Camera, then go to File, click Load Motion Data, navigate to the Camera folder, and select VFX Tutorial Camera.vmd. You can click Play to see what the scene looks like without using any effects. Now that we've loaded the model and camera motion, let's start using the effects. For the first part of the scene where Hatsune Miku is powering up, we will be using 3 effects: Earthquake, Self-Thunder, and Auto Smoke. First, let's load these effects. Go to Accessory Manipulation, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to your Earthquake V004 folder, and select Earthquake.x. Since we won't be using the Earthquake effect at the start of the scene, set SI to 0 as its initial value and click on Register. Next, go to Accessory Manipulation again, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to your Self-Thunder V03 folder, and select Self-Thunder.x. Assign the effect to the model as we did in Chapter 5. Set SI to 0 as its initial value and click on Register. Finally, go to Model Manipulation, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to your Auto Smoke 2 folder, and select Autosmoke2.pmx. Uncheck its display and click Register. Now go to frame 50. You can see that from frame 50 to 55 is where Miku starts powering up. Let's add wind that's slowly building up to frame 50. Go to frame 35, go to Physical Operation, select Gravity Setting, and click Register. Next, go to frame 50. Set the value of Y to 0.4 in the gravity setting, and click Register. Now let's use Earthquake while Miku shouts. Go to frame 50. Select the Earthquake effect and click Register. Then move to frame 55. Change the value of SI to 0.3 and click Register. Now let's use the Self-Thunder effect to show that power level is slowly rising. Go to frame 60. Select Self-Thunder and click Register. Then go to frame 70. Change the value of SI to 0.6. Then click Register. Now let's add a smoke effect to show the force of the wind. First, load the preset motion for Auto Smoke. Go to Model Manipulation and select the Auto Smoke effect. Select frame 120. Go to File, click Load Motion Data, navigate to your effects folder, then to your Auto Smoke 2 folder, and select the .vmd file. Check the display checkbox in MM and click Register. Select frame 129, set null 07 to 0.6, and click Register. Select frame 130, set null 07 to 0, and uncheck the display checkbox in MM. Click Register for each change. Lastly, select all the frames from frame 120 to 130, and paste it with a 10-frame interval until you reach frame 270. Click to Camera, then Play to see what we made for the first part of the scene. For the second part of the scene where Miku is unleashing her power, we will be adding two effects, Aura Particle and Flare from Big Explosions. Now let's load these effects. Select frame 0, then go to AM, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to the Aura Particle folder, and select auraparticle.x. Set SI to 0 as its initial value, and click on Register. Next, go to Accessory Manipulation again. Click Load. Navigate to your Effects folder, then to your Big Explosions folder, then to the Flare folder and select flare.x. Now go to frame 265. You can see that from frame 265 to 275 is where Miku unleashes her power. This is the part where we will focus on the effects. Let's start with using Flare. Select Flare and click on Register. Then go to frame 275, set TR to 0, and click on Register. Now let's unleash Miku's aura. Go to frame 265, select Aura Particle and click on Register. Then go to frame 275, set SI to 5, and click on Register. Lastly, go to frame 290, set SI to 3, and click on Register. Now, let's remove Earthquake from the scene since Miku already finished charging. Go to frame 265 again. Select Earthquake and click on Register. Go to frame 275, set Earthquake's SI to 0, and click on Register. Let's also return the wind to its initial direction. Select frame 275. Go to Physical Operation. Select Gravity Setting and click Register. Next, go to frame 290. Set the value of Y to -1 in the gravity setting and click Register. Click Play to see what we've done so far. Now for the final part, let's make Miku shoot an energy beam. First, let's load all the effects that we're going to use, which are Beam Charge, Specium Beam, and another Self Thunder. Select frame 0, go to AM, click Load, navigate to your effects folder, then to your Beam Charge folder and select Beam Charge Target.x. Attach the effect to the model's left dummy bone. Set the Y value to -1.7 to create a small gap between the effect and the model's palm, and click Register. Hide the target from the screen, just like we did in Chapter 7. Load its controller by going to MM, click Load, go to your Beam Charge folder again, and select beamcharge.pmd. Next, click to Camera, then go to AM, click Load. Navigate to your Effects folder, then to the Specium Beam folder, and select speciumbeam.x. Attach the effect to the model's left dummy bone. Change TR to 0 to hide it from the screen. Adjust the rotation of the effect by changing RX to -102 and RY to -65, and click Register. Now, go to Accessory Manipulation again, click Load. Navigate to your Effects folder, then to your Self Thunder V03 folder, and select selfthunder.x. Set SI to 0.6, then click on Register. Now let's load the asset where we will attach the Self Thunder effect. Go to MM, click Load, navigate to your Ray MMD folder, then to your Lighting folder, and select spherelight.pmx. In Facial Manipulation, set G+ and B+ to 0.2 and click Register for each change. Attach it to the model's left dummy bone as well by going to MM, clicking the OP button, selecting Miku as the target model, its left dummy bone as its target bone, and clicking OP Register. Set its Y value to -1.7 and click on Register in Bone Manipulation. Assign the effect as we did in Chapter 5, but this time to the sphere light instead of the model. Finally, go to MM, uncheck the display, and click Register. Now let's go to frame 364. This is where Miku will charge her energy beam. Go to MM and select the beam charge controller. Then click on File, then Load Motion Data. Navigate to your beam charge folder and select the VMD file. Now let's release the energy ball. Go to MM and select the sphere light. First, let's make the ball appear just before beam charge finishes. Go to frame 393. Check the display in MM and click Register. Go to frame 445. Go to Bone Manipulation and click Register for the starting position. Finally, select frame 450. Change the position of the sphere light by changing the value of X to 2.6 and Y to -17. Go to Bone Manipulation and click Register. Now let's shoot the energy beam. Click to Camera. Go to frame 445. Select Specium Beam, then go to AM and click Register. Select frame 455. Go to AM again, change TR to 1, and click Register. Then select frame 465. Set SI to 0 to make the beam slowly disappear, and click Register. Click Play to see our completed scene. Did you enjoy this tutorial? As a last tip, if you want to learn any MMD effects, simply open its README file, copy the text, paste it in Google Translate, and you can see the step-by-step instructions on how to use it. Want to learn more about using MMD effects? Then I suggest watching these.